I caught my wife cheating at a wedding, so I quietly left and made her regret it forever. Hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons, with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. I saw my wife cheating at a wedding, so I quietly slipped away and made sure she'd regret it forever. I'm a surgeon, and I mention that because it's relevant. We're trained to stay calm under pressure, to make deliberate decisions when everything's falling apart. That training kept me from messing up that night. And I went through med school together at UCT. We've been close ever since that first-year anatomy class, when we were the only two who didn't lose our lunch during that brutal dissection. When he asked me to be his best man, I was honored. He picked this stunning wine estate in for his wedding to Corinne, and I knew it would be perfect. My wife and I had been married for 4 years. She's an agricultural engineer working for a huge citrus export company in the Western Cape. Smart, beautiful, from a good Indian family in Durban, that's what I thought. We met at a charity gala for medical causes, and I was impressed by her knowledge of sustainable farming, especially in water-scarce areas. Even back then, I was making decent money as a registrar, but she was determined to keep her career. I respected that. The wedding was everything you'd expect from a venue in autumn. Perfect weather, mountains in the backdrop, rows of ripe vineyards. The ceremony started at 3 p.m. and by 5, we were already into cocktail hour. My role was to mingle, make sure older relatives were comfortable, coordinate with the MC. That's when I noticed wasn't around. She'd been talking to some of the other wives earlier, laughing and drinking, but now she was gone. At first, I didn't think much of it, probably went to the bathroom or touched up her makeup. The place was huge, Cape Dutch architecture, with several connected buildings and lush garden paths. But after about 15 minutes, that familiar knot started forming in my stomach, the same one I get when a patient's vitals suddenly decline on their monitor. I excused myself from a chat with Aunt and started looking. Checked the bathrooms, the photo booth, even asked a few friends if they'd seen her. Nothing. Then one of her friends gave me a look, those quick first-second expressions that say, I know something, but I shouldn't get involved. The estate had giant old oak trees, some dating back to the Dutch settlers of the 1600s. As I walked past the main reception area toward the parking lot, I heard it, a giggle. Her giggle, the one she does when she's nervous or excited. I moved silently, relying on my surgical skills, lesson learned in ICU, moved quietly around critical patients, and hid behind a large oak trunk. There she was, with her back pressed against the tree. Her expensive dress hiked up, and this guy, one of the groomsmen I'd briefly met earlier, had his hands all over her. His tongue was so deep in her mouth I was surprised she could breathe. The way they moved together, how familiar their touch seemed, definitely not the first time. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour. In surgery, 10 seconds can be eternity when you're trying to stop bleeding. This moment dragged on. My mind raced through options like a differential diagnosis. First, confront them now, cause a scene, ruins wedding. Second, pretend I didn't see anything, live a lie. Third, I backed away, planned, waited, executed. I chose option 3. Slowly, I backed off, making sure my steps were silent on the grass. I returned to the reception, putting on my surgeon face, the one that reveals nothing about whether a patient is thriving or dying. Grabbed a Castle Light from the bar, cracked a joke about the groom's dance moves, and no one suspected a thing. About 10 minutes later, the groomsman, whose name I learned later, came back, adjusting his tie, running his hand through his hair. He's a young accountant, maybe 28, cocky as hell with that private school confidence. He probably had a somewhere in the crowd. My wife appeared 5 minutes after him from another direction with her lipstick fixed and her aura of composure. She came straight to me, smiling brightly. Hey babe, I was just chatting with cousin about their farm in the Free State. Did you know they export to China? She said, her voice cheerful. I kissed her cheek, played along. That's fascinating, honey, I replied, masking my anger and confusion. The rest of the evening I played the perfect husband, danced a couple songs with her, fed her a bite of dessert, kept my arm around her during the speeches. All while my brain was working overdrive, planning my next move like I was in surgery. During her father's speech, I kept an eye on. He kept shooting glances at quick ones when he thought no one saw. She caught it too. Her smile lingered just a tad too long when they made eye contact. Sapritty from Camps Bay was oblivious, fussing over him, fixing his collar. The drive home seemed normal enough. Was tipsy, chatting about how beautiful looked and how perfect the venue was. I drove my BMW M3. Yeah, I know what they say about surgeons and fast cars. I responded with short answers, kept it cool, non-suspicious. Yeah, it was a good event. The food was great. Looked happy. She passed out in bed quickly and I retreated to my study, opening my laptop. That's what civilians don't get about surgeons. We're meticulous. We plan for complications. I'd opened a secret FNB account 3 months earlier, not because I knew she was cheating, but because I felt something was off. She'd been working late more often, taking unnecessary trips to inspect farms, trying on lingerie she never wore for me, tilting her phone screen away when texting. Over those months, I managed to transfer 8 million rand, my private practice income, bonuses she didn't know about, without her catching on. Small transfers, just enough to have some control. Our joint account covered household expenses, but my salary went into my personal account first. She trusted me blindly. I sat in my study until 3 a.m. planning everything. I had a 7-day timeline, 1 week to do this properly. The next morning, Sunday, I woke early, made her breakfast, scrambled eggs, rye toast, fresh orange juice, and brought it to her in bed. She looked sleepy, mumbling, "Egg, babe, you're too sweet." "Hungover," she complained, "my head's killing me." "I have a call at clothes from 2 p.m., I lied. "Will probably be late. Complex valve repair scheduled." She nodded, already on her phone. I watched her scroll through Instagram, double-tapping wedding pics, her face emotionless. That's when I realized I made the right move. Update 1 3 days later. The response to my post has been nuts. My inbox is flooded. To clear things up, yes, this is real. No, I'm not some hero or a red pill fanatic. Yes, I'm still planning the exit. Today is Wednesday, 3 days after the wedding. For those 3 days, I played the perfect husband, but I was busy setting the board. Sunday afternoon, while recovered from her hangover, I went to the hospital, but I never went inside. Instead, I met my lawyer in Claremont, paid cash for a 2-hour session. And here's what I learned. South African divorce law doesn't care about infidelity regarding assets. Married in community property, I could have been careless, but that's not the point. Moving money before divorce is technically legal if it's your own. The joint assets would be divided, but my personal accounts, fair game. The lawyer, an Indian guy who had handled my uncle's divorce, gave me the playbook. Document everything, avoid abuse, keep paying bills, act normal. That Sunday night I got lucky. Left her iPad on the kitchen counter while she showered. It was synced to our shared Apple ID. I saw her messages back 4 months. They started innocent, talking about spreadsheets, the audit, dinner with to celebrate passing. But then the sexual messages began 2 months ago. I sat at the kitchen counter reading about how she couldn't wait to taste him again, how she thought about him during intimacy, how much bigger he was. Actually made me laugh. I've seen enough in medicine to know size isn't everything, but still. Screenshots from 3 weeks ago showed her selfies, lingerie, photos from his apartment. One picture, kissing in a garden, no mystery where. I backed everything up to 3 cloud services, emailed copies, kept my grip steady, the surgical training kicking in. I called in sick Monday, first in 2 years claimed. Spent the day apartment hunting. Found a furnished place in, paid 6 months upfront, cash. Monday night, excitedly told me about. He's bringing VIP passes to a conference in Cape Town next month, she said, smiling brightly. Great, I said, serving her lamb curry. Networking is important, I added as she smiled even wider, probably texting him under the table. Tuesday was harder. I had a full surgical schedule, 2 valve repairs, a procedure that needed my focus. But I made calls in between, canceled joint credit cards, moved 80% of our savings into my personal account, changed my life insurance beneficiary to my mother, all small, quiet moves. That night she asked about the credit cards. FNB says they're lost, I told her. Maybe I left my wallet at hospital, I said, or just being safe. She believed me, even offered cash if I needed it. Wednesday was the I took a half day, told the hospital I had a family emergency, and packed everything that was truly mine. Clothes, books, medical gear, watches, leaving behind joint furniture, appliances, art. Only my personal documents. The movers were quick. 4 hours later, I was out of the house. Left 3 screenshots on the kitchen counter, just enough to show I knew, nothing fully explicit, just enough. Then I did an emergency heart surgery, a 12-year-old's life saved. Perspective is everything. Now it's 10 p.m. I'm in my apartment, drinking 18, watching the sunset over the Atlantic. My phone has 47 missed calls from 132 WhatsApp messages. I haven't blocked her. I want to see her panic escalate. The last message, half an hour ago: Tabo, please tell me where you are. We need to talk. It's not what you think. Yeah, it is. I'm just getting started. Tomorrow morning she'll wake up to an empty bank account and divorce papers. By Friday, the screenshots go to her family. Got strict ethics policies on staff conduct. His dad, a Cape Town High Court judge, isn't going easy on him either. Some of you said I was cruel, that I should have just divorced quietly. But I didn't create this mess. I didn't make her cheat or mock me or take the risk with her career. I simply made sure there were consequences, real ones, the kind that last. Tomorrow I'll be back in surgery, giving someone a new chance at life. Poetic, right? The next update might be in a month, maybe less. Let's see if she still thinks was worth it when she's back with her disowning family. Actually, scratch that. Her conservative Indian parents in Durban just found out she's the family disgrace. That'll be fun. She chose wrong. Now she lives with it. Update 2, 1 week after the wedding, Saturday morning. It's been exactly a week since I saw her tongue down another man's throat at my best friend's wedding. Time for the finale. Thursday was prep day. I filed divorce papers, and in South Africa, you must be separated for a while before the divorce is final, so we started the clock. I did something petty, too, called in a favor. Got a contact in banking to make sure her account reflected only R1. On Friday morning, that way, she wouldn't claim I left her bankrupt, but she'd see I left her with just enough to know I knew. I didn't sleep Thursday night, not from nerves, but anticipation. It was like prepping for the biggest surgery of my life. By 5 a.m. Friday, I was ready. At 6, I drove to our house, still mine until the divorce is final, used my key, and left an envelope on the kitchen counter. Inside, divorce papers, screenshots, bank statements, a note: you chose wrong, live with it. Then I headed for a 4-hour aortic dissection repair. Managed to save the patient's life. Hands steady, focus absolute. Later, I checked my phone: 156 missed calls, dozens of messages. The mental shift was fascinating. My inbox filled with everyone's reactions, from "what the hell is this" to "please call me back." My wife sending frantic messages, begging me to explain, accusing me of theft, asking what I told her parents. Her desperation was clear. By 11 a.m., she was texting her parents. Her own father had disowned her, calling over the phone, voice heavy, asking if the evidence was real. Her mother, she didn't answer. Her family has fallen apart. Meanwhile, I sent a package with screenshots, including promises she'd leave her after the right time, and photos from the wedding showing when they slipped away. Anonymously, HR departments at their companies received tips about major ethics breaches, starting from the audit period. It was checkmate. Her dad called me, an old Durban man, respected, honest, asking if the evidence was real. Long pause. "We raised her better," he said softly. I told him nothing was false. He hung up, disowning her while I was in the clinic. My phone buzzed again. Crying for help, saying her parents won't take her calls, she's on the brink of losing her job. She begged for forgiveness, offered therapy, promised to do anything. I finally responded: "Your house is your problem now. Don't contact me again." I blocked her everywhere, complete surgical removal from my life. But the highlight: called, left a message saying she wanted the full truth. I sent her everything, told her was finished in Cape Town. By Friday evening, the medical community in Cape Town was buzzing. Surgeons whispered about my precision, my clean margins. My department head even congratulated me. No residual disease, he said. It's textbook. Now it's Saturday afternoon. I'm on my balcony watching the Stormers play the Bulls. I've got a cold Castle Light from feeling peaceful. My lawyer confirmed, since I only took what was legally mine, she can't challenge the divorce proceedings. The house, she'll have to sell it. Markets flooded, no buyers. Her career, her company fired her for the affair, no severance, no reference. She's lost her job and her reputation in that industry. His medical license is under review, and her father, the judge, isn't leaving him any slack. He's facing a future without his CA certification, years of effort gone. And her family, old Durban Indian community, family reputation is everything. Her parents have disowned her entirely. Her sister's wedding, she wasn't invited. Her friends, the ones who stayed, they drifted away. People get tired of constant victimhood. Meanwhile, I'm thriving, doing 23 surgeries this month, including 3 transplants. My department head wants me to do a fellowship at Mayo Clinic next year. Amazing. I even started hitting the gym again, dropping weight and gaining muscle, taking MAGA classes now just for fun. And I met someone, an anesthesiologist named Dr. Zen. Beautiful, smart, faithful. Imagine that. She's visiting next month, and I already bought the ring, 2-carat Tiffany diamond, for someone who truly deserves it. She read all these posts, she's got my whole story now, and she still chose me. The anniversary coming up. Today marks exactly a year since I walked away from her. And just now my phone buzzed at 3:47 p.m. Minnesota time, about the time I caught her cheating. I took out her number, unblocked it briefly just for legal reasons, and saw the message. I'm sorry. I think about that moment every day. I lost everything, my career, my family, my home, my dignity. I mop offices now, Tabo. My parents cross the street to avoid me. My sister says I died. I can't afford therapy. I dream about that moment under the oak tree, seeing you watch us. I still love you. I stared at it for a long time. Part of me wanted to reply, tell her she was full of shit, how she'd been cheating for months and calling me boring. That I didn't burn her life, she did that herself with her choices. But instead I just did and sent it to my lawyer, then blocked her again. And honestly, what really pissed me off is her question. Does my destruction make you feel like a man? No. What makes me feel like a man is having enough self-respect not to stay married to a woman who was laughing about my sexual performance with another man. I protected my assets, my career, my dignity, and made sure she faced the consequences of her actions. A weak man would have begged and pleaded, done the pick-me dance. That's not me. I handle my business, move forward. Final lessons, trust your gut. Document everything. Strike hard, strike once. Don't give them time to prepare a defense. Success is the best revenge. Her choices did the damage, I just thrived. To any men reading, if you're in a similar place, don't be a martyr. Don't fight for someone who's already checked out. Protect yourself legally, financially, and emotionally. Cut clean, no friendship, no checking in. Focus on your own life, gym, career, hobbies, friends. Build the future you want. And to the women before you come at me, I know not all women are like Zeno's proof every day. But if you're considering cheating, remember my story. In the digital age, everything leaves a trail. Some men, like me, won't beg, they execute with surgical precision. A year ago, I thought I was done. Watching her make out at that wedding, it was like open-heart surgery without anesthesia. Now I'm in Minnesota at Mayo, learning techniques few South African surgeons can even dream of. When I go back home, I'll be among the best cardiac surgeons in the country. My department's already planning a new cardiac unit for me. And here's the best part. Zen's coming next month, and I plan to propose, already bought the ring. That's the kind of future I deserve. She's seen everything. She knows my whole story, and she still chose me. The anniversary. Today at 3:47 p.m. I got a message, an anonymous call from her maybe, but I knew. The death of my old life. I lost everything, my career, my family, my home, my dignity. I've been reduced to mopping floors. My parents cross the street when they see me. My sister says I died. I can't get therapy for what I've become. But I dream about that moment under the tree, the moment I saw her watching us, the moment I knew it was over. I still love her. I always will. Sorry doesn't mean much anymore, but I hope she finds peace far away from me. This is the final chapter. The surgeon has left the building. Thanks for following my story. Now I have a fellowship to finish and a new life to live. Cheers from Rochester. Zen said yes, by the way.